Hello, Internet. So over the weekend, I went to visit my mother and my grandfather at my grandfather's farm, and that was really nice. It was good to see them again. We don't get to see each other very often, my mother and I. She lives pretty far away. My grandfather lives closer, and so getting to see him is pretty easy. Um, I think that I'm going to start doing that a bit more often. I drove, and it was nice. It was a nice drive. I actually like road trips for the most part, although doing them alone is a little boring. I recorded it a little bit with my mother, and I'll go ahead and throw that in right here. Hey everybody, this is my mother.
Hi.
She lives on a small farm with horses, well down to just the one horse now, and chickens, and
Ducks
and
and
ducks
turkeys
and
and
turkeys.
bunnies.
A couple of pit bulls. But for most of her life, most of her working life, she was a nurse. And I think that kind of encouraged me into getting into a similar field, working with people, helping people, working in the group home like I do. So that was a big influence on my life. So thanks for that. But yeah, no, I have many fond memories of growing up on the horse farm with Mom, and very early memories of when we lived in a trailer park. We were talking about that earlier, when I was a baby, and I spilled pepper on myself, and I was sneezing like crazy. I have the vaguest of memories of that, but I think that's like my earliest memory. We also had guinea pigs, didn't we? Because I remember them like, yeah, because I remember them grunting and squealing.
Very noisy.
Yep. So I grew up with that sound. And I remember a house we lived in when I was probably 3 or 4, and I lay down on the driveway, accidentally lay down on a hill of fire ants and got bitten all over.
Oh yeah.
And I think you had to like spray me with a hose to get them off of me. It was awful. What was another one? Oh, when I set fire to the rug.
Yeah.
And the little...
You were burning a candle.
Yes.
And it tipped over.
Mm-hmm.
And you kept trying to blow out the fire on the carpet.
Yes. And this was when Mom was not around. And so when I was able to put it out, there was this nice black scorch mark on the carpet, so I didn't know what to do, so I sat on it. And then Mom came home, and she went into the kitchen, and she says, I think you said something like, "Daniel, come here," or something like that. And that's when I realized the flaw in my clever plan was that I had to get up. So I got up, and she saw the scorch mark.
Fond memories.
Fond memories.
Fond memories. By the way, the scorch mark that you're talking about went all the way to the foot of the playpen that your baby brother was in.
Yep. That would be Clint.
That was scary.
Yep. That would be Clint, who has shown up on this channel before. He was in a couple of videos. Actually, one of my fondest memories from that time was when I walked down to the corner store, bought a package of Rolos, and ate them on the way back. For the longest time, I thought I was 5 when I did that, but it turns out I was 3. And that was, I think you were in the house. You didn't even know I had left.
Yeah. And the road that the little convenience store was on was a busy road.
Yeah. Not to paint her out to be like negligent or anything. It was just that I was that kind of a child. I would sneak away all the time. I was a very adventurous little boy. So that wasn't her fault. That was all me. Living on the horse farm, I remember when one of the horses, I had hay in my hair, and so it bent down to get the hay, and it bit my ear. Nearly took my ear off. That was Shaw.
Yeah, that was his name, Shaw.
I'm getting him confused with Cy, who was the really nice one. He was the big one that was still intimidating, but he was really nice. And then Shaw, short for Shalimar, right? Shalimar. Mm-hmm. Who was just a mean gray horse that just didn't like anybody. I think the only one that could ride him was my stepfather, because he was too heavy to buck off. I remember growing up around horses, lugging bales of hay, and even in winter, going out to feed them and water them, and them just being so big and intimidating. And I just came away from it not really liking horses much. I don't like horses. She loves horses. I don't like horses.
No,
Okay.
I think we found enough.
Okay. All right. In that case, yeah. So this was my mom.
Hi.
And I recorded a little bit with my grandfather, and I'll throw that in right about here. Hi, everybody. This is my grandfather. You were a judge for a long time, right?
20 years.
20 years a judge, yeah.
Commissioner of Motor Vehicles for the state of New York for 2 years.
Wow.
County clerk for 20 years.
Wow.
I've had a good life.
And throughout all that, you raised cattle on your farm.
I'm the oldest purebred Angus breeder in New York State. We've had them for 78 years.
That's amazing.
You know, I enjoy it.
Yeah. No, this man is one of the hardest working men I've ever known.
And I'm taking it easy now.
Taking it easy now, but not that easy, because you still put in a lot of effort around the farm.
We try to.
Yeah. It's wonderful to come and visit and catch up.
It's wonderful to have you come and visit. You just got to do it more often.
I will. As you can see, I get some influence from both of them. They're both wonderful people. And like I said, it was really good to see them again. We went out to dinner. My mother and I went to see Solo, which was good. I liked it. I know that apparently not very many people did, and it's not doing too well at the box office, but I thought it was a decent movie. It was all right. We walked around the farm, and, you know, it was nice to see places that I had seen as a child. I mean, I grew up with visiting the farm on a semi-regular basis, so, you know, walking through the barn, feeding the chickens, going out to look at the cows, you know, just sort of sitting on the back porch and reminiscing about everything. It was nice. It filled me with a certain air of nostalgia. I like getting out to see family when I can. It's one of those things that's in the back of my mind constantly, that I don't know how much longer I'll be able to do that, especially with my grandfather, who is 94 years old, and I don't know how much longer he's got, and I don't know how much longer I've got, and so it's this sort of unspoken sense of, just a sense of it being kind of temporary. Not exactly a sense of urgency, just that knowledge kind of encourages us to spend more time together. And it's not a bad thing, definitely. And it was really good to catch up with my family, especially my grandfather, who is my only remaining grandparent. The rest have passed. Just talking to him. Come here, kittles. I've got a mudge in my lap. He grew up on a little farm not too far from where he lives now. His father was a farmer, worked with cattle and sheep. His grandfather came over from England, so his side of the family hasn't even been in the country that long. My mother's side of the family, however, has been here since the Mayflower, apparently. But one branch of that side of the family came over from Scotland, so I've got some Scottish in me. Mother's side, Scottish and English. Father's side, Dutch and Welsh. Basically, I am the whitest white guy you will ever meet. In any case, that was my weekend. Not a whole lot else to talk about. Health-wise, I'm feeling pretty good. Not much of an update, but, you know, still wanted to put this out there about my family, about visiting my mother and grandfather and all that stuff. So, also, I'm sorry if this is a little low energy. I've got a bit of a cold. I think I picked it up while I was visiting. So it's kind of sapping my energy a little bit. But anyway, that's it for now. And yeah, I'll pick this up again next time. So until then, take care.